There is a place filled with more wealth than any bank, more untapped power than any government, and more unfulfilled dreams than anywhere else on earth. Do you know where that is? Yes, the graveyard is the richest place on the planet because it holds books that were never written, songs never sung, businesses never built, ideas never executed, and potential never realized. Every single day, people die full of talents, full of dreams, full of purpose that was never poured out. You were not created to go to the grave with your greatness still inside you. You were sent to this world to release something, to deposit something, to change something. And if you do not give it all while you are alive, the world will suffer because of your silence, your fear, your hesitation. And that is why today, I have one message for you. Every human is born full of potential, full of ideas, full of dreams. No one comes into this world empty. The tragedy is not that people die, but that they die without ever giving what they were meant to give. Think about the great inventors, leaders, and pioneers who have shaped history. They were no different from you. The only difference? They gave it all. They refused to let fear, doubt, or laziness rob the world of their gifts. You have something inside you right now that the world needs. A solution, a message, a business, a movement. The only question is, will you release it before it's too late? Comfort is the greatest thief of purpose. It is easy to settle for a job that pays the bills but doesn't fulfill you. It is easy to stay in a routine that feels safe but doesn't challenge you. But greatness is never found in comfort. You must be willing to leave what is good to go after what is great. You must step out of the boat to walk on water. You must be willing to sacrifice ease to embrace excellence. What are you holding on to that is keeping you from giving it all? There is something about time that makes us feel like we always have more of it. But let me remind you of this undeniable truth. You don't have forever. Every day you wake up is one day closer to the end. The clock is ticking and the grave is waiting. But here's the good news. You are still breathing. That means you still have time to do what you were born to do. But you must act now, because someday is not on the calendar. Many people believe in their dreams, but belief alone will not make them a reality. Faith without action is dead. You say you want to start a business, start today. You say you want to write a book? Write today. You say you want to change the world? Move today. Faith is not waiting for the perfect moment. It is moving despite imperfection. You must be willing to step forward even when you are afraid. Because fear does not mean stop. Fear means go forward with courage. When you reach the end of your life, you will not regret the money you didn't make or the cars you didn't drive. You will regret the dreams you didn't chase. Success is not measured by what you collect, but by what you give. The question is not, how much did I acquire, but rather, how much did I deposit into the world? So, will you leave this world empty or full? Will you take your music to the grave, your invention, your wisdom, or will you release it all while you still have breath? You have one life, one chance, one opportunity to make an impact. Don't waste it. The richest people in the world are not those with the most money, but those who gave the most to their generation, the ones who emptied themselves. So today, I challenge you. Stop waiting. Start doing. Stop fearing. Start moving. Stop holding back. Give it all, because when your time comes and you take your last breath, may you be able to say, I have nothing left. I gave it all. Will you? Every single human being enters this world carrying something of immense value, potential. No one is born empty. Within you are ideas, dreams, talents, and gifts that were placed inside you for a purpose. You are a solution to a problem in this world, a vessel meant to pour something out before you leave. The greatest tragedy is not death itself, but the reality that so many people die without ever releasing what they carried. They go to the grave still full of unspoken words, unwritten books, unstarted businesses, unrealized inventions, and untapped greatness. Think about it. How many times have you had an idea, A dream or a vision so strong that it felt like it was pushing you from the inside. How many times have you felt the pull to do something greater, to step beyond your comfort zone, to create something that has never existed before? But instead of moving forward, hesitation, fear, and doubt crept in. You told yourself you had time. You convinced yourself you weren't ready. You allowed circumstances, opinions, and even your own insecurities to silence the voice of purpose within you. And so, that idea remained just an idea. That dream stayed locked inside your mind, waiting for someday, a day that, for many, never comes. The reality is, life does not wait for you to be ready. The grave does not wait for you to finish what you started. Every day you hesitate, every moment you delay, you are carrying something inside you that the world may never see. The greatest minds of history were not those who merely had ideas, but those who acted on them. Every invention, every breakthrough, every work of art that changed the course of humanity was the result of someone who refused to die full. They chose to give everything they had while they were alive. They understood that what they carried inside them was not just for themselves, but for the world. When you live with the awareness that you were born full, it changes the way you see your time, your gifts, and your opportunities. You begin to realize that everything you have, your knowledge, your skills, your creativity, is not meant to be hoarded. It is meant to be shared, to be poured out, to be deposited into the next generation. Holding back your gift is not humility. It is robbery. Every unfulfilled purpose is a loss not just to you, but to the world that needed what you were carrying. Fear is one of the greatest enemies of those who are called to release their potential. Fear of failure, fear of rejection, fear of not being good enough. These are the silent killers of destiny. But the truth is, failure is not the worst thing that can happen to you. Regret is. The pain of looking back on your life and realizing that you never even tried is far greater than the pain of any temporary setback. Those who make the greatest impact are not those who never fell, but those who got back up every time they did. They understand that their purpose is bigger than their fear, that their assignment is greater than their insecurity, and that the weight of regret is heavier than the weight of any risk. You must begin to see yourself as a vessel, a carrier of something that does not belong to you alone. Your talents, your wisdom, your ideas, these were given to you to make a difference in your generation. There are people waiting for the book you have not written yet. There are lives that could be changed by the business you are afraid to start. There are problems that could be solved by the invention you have been delaying. There are communities that could be transformed by the movement you have been hesitating to lead. What if the very thing you are afraid to release is the exact thing the world is waiting for? Living with this mindset requires urgency. It demands that you stop procrastinating, stop making excuses, and stop waiting for the perfect moment. There is no perfect moment. The perfect time is now. Every second that passes is a second you will never get back. The question is not whether you have something valuable inside you. The question is whether you will choose to release it before it is too late. Comfort is one of the most deceptive traps in life. It disguises itself as safety, as wisdom, as stability, but in reality, it is the silent killer of dreams. Many people never step into their full potential, not because they lack talent, not because they lack opportunity, but because they have become too comfortable where they are. Comfort is seductive. It convinces you that you have enough, that you are doing well enough, that there is no need to push further. It tells you that risk is dangerous, that stepping into the unknown could lead to failure, that it is better to stay where it is familiar, even if it means never truly fulfilling your purpose. But no great person ever achieved greatness by staying comfortable. Every inventor, every leader, every world changer had to make a decision to leave what was familiar and step into what was uncertain. They had to embrace discomfort, because discomfort is where growth happens. A seed cannot grow unless it is buried, broken, and pushed through the dirt. A muscle does not get stronger unless it is stretched, strained, and torn. Likewise, a person cannot reach their full potential unless they are willing to go beyond what is easy, beyond what is predictable, beyond what is comfortable. The danger of comfort is that it convinces you to settle. It tells you that the job you have is good enough, even though it does not fulfill you. It tells you that your current level of success is good enough, even though you know you are capable of more. It tells you that your relationships, your health, your dreams are good enough, even though deep inside you feel a longing for something greater. But settling for good enough is the enemy of excellence. The people who change the world are not those who accept things as they are, but those who are willing to push for what could be. They are the ones who refuse to let comfort stop them from reaching for more. Think about the eagle. When an eaglet is born, it is safe inside the nest. The mother provides food, warmth, and protection. But there comes a time when the mother begins to remove the soft padding of the nest, exposing the sharp sticks beneath. She does this to make the nest uncomfortable, so that the eaglet will be forced to leave and learn to fly. If the mother never did this, the eaglet would never develop its wings. It would stay in the nest forever, safe but never soaring. Many people are like that eaglet, stuck in a nest of comfort, unwilling to leave, afraid to spread their wings. But you were not created to stay in the nest. You were created to fly. The problem is that many people wait for a crisis to push them out of their comfort zone. They wait until they lose the job, until they face financial hardship, until their health is at risk before they decide to make a change. But why wait for life to force you out of comfort when you can make the choice yourself? Why wait for a disaster to wake you up when you can choose today to step into your greatness? The greatest breakthroughs in life do not come from waiting until you have no choice. They come from making a decision to move forward even when you have the option to stay where you are. Growth is always uncomfortable. It requires you to challenge yourself, to learn new skills, to develop new habits, to take risks. It demands that you let go of the mindset that says, "This is just the way things are," and instead embrace the mindset that says, "Things can be better, and I have the power to change them." The moment you allow yourself to become too comfortable, you stop growing. And the moment you stop growing, you begin to die. Slowly, silently, without even realizing it. So ask yourself, what is keeping you comfortable? What is stopping you from stepping into your full potential? What have you convinced yourself is good enough when deep inside, you know you were meant for more? Comfort may feel safe, but it is a prison. It may feel familiar, but it is a cage. And the only way to step into your greatness is to be willing to break free. Time is the most valuable resource you have. Unlike money, which you can earn back, or possessions which you can replace, once time is gone, it is gone forever. Every second that passes is a second you will never get back. Every hour that slips away is an hour you will never see again. And yet, so many people live as if they have an unlimited supply of time. They put off their dreams, delay their purpose, and convince themselves that they will do it someday. But someday is a myth. Someday is an illusion. Someday is the graveyard where dreams go to die. You don't have forever. The clock is ticking. Right now, as you sit here, time is moving forward and you cannot stop it, you cannot pause it, you cannot rewind it. Every breath you take brings you closer to your last. Every day that passes is one day less that you have to fulfill your destiny. The reality of life is that none of us know how much time we have left. We assume we will have years, decades, a lifetime to do what we were meant to do. But the truth is, tomorrow is not promised. Next week is not guaranteed. There are people who woke up this morning with plans for the future, and by tonight they will be gone. Death does not send a notice. It does not wait until you are ready. It does not ask if you have finished your work. It simply comes, whether you are prepared or not. So what are you doing with the time you have? Are you using it to chase your dreams, to develop your gifts, to pour out everything inside you? Or are you wasting it on distractions, excuses, and things that do not add value to your life? Are you spending your days living with urgency and purpose? Or are you merely existing, drifting through life, waiting for the right moment to start? The truth is, there will never be a perfect moment. There will never be a time when everything aligns perfectly for you to begin. The right time is now. The best time is now, because the longer you wait, the more time you lose. Many people look back on their lives with regret, not because of what they did, but because of what they didn't do. They regret the opportunities they let pass by. They regret the dreams they never pursued. They regret the words they never said, the risks they never took, the chances they never embraced. They wish they had written that book, started that business, taken that trip, mended that relationship. But by the time they realize it is too late. Do not let that be your story. Do not reach the end of your life only to wish you had lived differently. If you knew you only had 1 year left to live, how would you spend it? If you knew you had only a few months left, what would you do differently? Would you still procrastinate? Would you still waste time on things that don't matter? Or would you finally start moving toward your destiny with everything you have? The reality is, you may not have as much time as you think, and even if you do, why waste it? Why delay what you were born to do? The world is waiting for you. There is something inside you that needs to be released. There is a gift you were given that must be shared. But if you do not use it while you are alive, it will die with you. The greatest tragedy in life is not death. It is a life that was never fully lived. It is potential that was never realized, purpose that was never fulfilled, time that was wasted instead of invested. And when the end comes, when your time is up, what will you say? Will you look back with satisfaction, knowing that you gave it everything? Or will you look back with regret, wishing you had done more? The choice is yours, but the time to choose is now. Because time is not waiting for you. It is running out. Faith is not just a belief. It is a movement. It is the ability to see something that does not yet exist and take steps toward making it a reality. Many people say they have faith, but their actions betray them. They talk about their dreams, their visions, their goals, but they do nothing to bring them to life. They pray for opportunities, but when those opportunities come, they hesitate. They wait for a sign, for the perfect moment, for a guarantee of success. But faith does not wait for certainty. Faith moves despite uncertainty. Faith is not about having all the answers. It is about trusting that the answers will come as you step forward. Too many people live their lives in a constant state of waiting. They are waiting for the right time, the right resources, the right conditions before they start pursuing their purpose. But the truth is, there will never be a perfect time. There will never be a season in life where everything is lined up perfectly for you to step out. Faith means stepping out even when you don't have all the pieces. It means trusting that as you move forward, the resources will appear, the doors will open, and the path will become clearer. Imagine a farmer who has a bag of seeds but refuses to plant them until he is sure of perfect weather. He waits for the rain, for the sunshine, for the ideal soil conditions. But while he waits, time is passing. The season for planting is slipping away, and in the end, he is left with nothing. Not because he lacked the ability to grow crops, but because he never took action. This is how many people live. They hold on to dreams, talents, and ideas, but they never release them into the world. They keep saying one day, but one day never comes. Faith is not passive. It is active. If you believe you were born to lead, then start leading where you are. If you believe you were meant to write, then start writing today. If you believe you were meant to create, then begin creating with what you have. Do not wait for everything to be in place. Move with what you have and watch as more is given to you. The most successful people in the world are not those who had everything figured out from the start. They were simply the ones who took the first step. They were willing to look foolish, to start small, to fail and get back up again. Fear is the greatest enemy of faith. It whispers that you are not ready, that you are not good enough, that you will fail. But fear and faith cannot coexist. If you let fear control you, it will paralyze you. It will keep you trapped in the comfort of inaction, convincing you that staying where you are is safer than stepping out. But real faith challenges fear. It says, even if I don't see the whole staircase, I will take the first step. It says, "Even if I fail, I will learn and try again." Faith does not ignore fear. It overcomes it. The world is full of people who had great potential but never acted on it. Their faith was buried under excuses. They had dreams but no action, vision but no execution. Do not let that be your story. Whatever is in your heart to do it now. Start where you are, use what you have, and trust that as you move forward, everything you need will be provided. Because faith is not just believing, it is doing. Excuses are the greatest enemies of success. They are the justifications people use to stay stagnant, to avoid responsibility, and to remain trapped in mediocrity. Excuses sound reasonable, they feel valid, and they provide comfort in the moment, but they are nothing more than chains that keep you from fulfilling your potential. Every time you make an excuse, you give yourself permission to settle for less than you are capable of. You convince yourself that your limitations are greater than your abilities, that your obstacles are stronger than your will, and that your circumstances are more powerful than your purpose. But the truth is, excuses are lies we tell ourselves to avoid the discomfort of growth. Look at history. The people who made the greatest impact did not have perfect conditions. They did not have everything handed to them. Many of them faced rejection, setbacks, and failures. They had every reason to quit, every justification to say it's too hard or it's not the right time, but they refused to make excuses. They understood that greatness is never birthed in convenience. It is forged in adversity. They knew that if they wanted to achieve something meaningful, they could not allow their limitations to define them. Excuses come in many forms. Some people blame their background. They say, "I wasn't born into the right family," or "I didn't have the right connections." But success is not determined by where you start. It is determined by how far you are willing to go. Others say, "I don't have enough resources," or "I don't have enough education." But the greatest innovators in history were not the ones with the most resources. They were the ones who made the most out of what they had. They didn't wait for perfect conditions. They started with what was in their hands, and they built from there. Fear also disguises itself as an excuse. Many people say, "I'm not ready," or "I need more time." But the truth is, you will never feel completely ready. Growth requires stepping into the unknown. If you wait until you feel fully prepared, you will never take action. The most successful people were not the ones who had all the answers. They were the ones who had the courage to take the first step, even when they were uncertain. Then there are those who blame time. "I don't have enough time," they say. But the reality is everyone has the same 24 hours in a day. The difference between those who succeed and those who fail is how they use that time. The problem is not a lack of time, it is a lack of priority. People make time for what matters to them. If your dreams are important, you will find a way. If they are not, you will find an excuse. One of the most dangerous excuses is, "I'll do it later." Procrastination is the silent thief of purpose. It convinces you that you have more time than you actually do. It makes you believe that opportunities will always be there, that you can afford to wait. But time is not promised to anyone. The opportunity you ignore today may not be there tomorrow. The doors that are open now may not remain open forever. Excuses will always be available, but so will opportunities. The difference between those who succeed and those who fail is not talent, intelligence, or luck. It is the decision to take action despite challenges. You can either have excuses or you can have results, but you cannot have both. The moment you stop making excuses, you take control of your destiny. The moment you decide to take responsibility for your life, your potential becomes limitless. Stop justifying inaction. Stop waiting for perfect conditions. Stop blaming circumstances. You have everything you need to begin. The only thing standing between you and your dreams is the excuse you keep telling yourself. Let it go and move forward. You were not created to live a life of mediocrity, to simply exist, work, eat, sleep, and die. You were born to make an impact, to contribute something meaningful to the world, and to leave a legacy that outlives you. Inside of you there are gifts, ideas, talents, and potential that were placed there for a reason. You are carrying something that the world needs, but the question is, will you release it or will you take it to the grave? The richest place on earth is not the banks, the oil fields, or the diamond mines. It is the cemetery. Why? Because buried, there are dreams that were never fulfilled, books that were never written, businesses that were never started, inventions that were never created, and songs that were never sung. People who had great potential but never acted on it. They had visions, but they delayed. They had talents, but they hid them. They had ideas, but they were too afraid to step out. And so, they died full. Full of unused ability, full of unrealized purpose, full of everything they were meant to give to the world. You were never meant to die full. You were meant to die empty. Every single day you should be pouring out what is inside of you. If you have knowledge, share it. If you have a skill, use it. If you have a passion, pursue it. Whatever you have been given, do not hold on to it. Give it your all. Because one day your time will run out and the only question that will matter is, did you use what you were given? Many people live with the mindset of preservation. They are afraid to take risks, afraid to fail, afraid to push beyond their limits. They hold back, waiting for the right moment to give their best. But life does not reward those who hold back. It rewards those who give everything. The people who make history, the people who change the world, are not those who played it safe. They are those who poured themselves out completely, refusing to leave this world without fulfilling their purpose. Think about a candle. A candle's only purpose is to burn. The more it burns, the more light it gives, but in the process it becomes smaller and smaller until it has given all it has. That is how you were meant to live, giving light to the world, pouring out everything inside you until there is nothing left. The tragedy is not in being exhausted from giving your all. The tragedy is in holding back and realizing, too late, that you had more to give. Some people are waiting for permission to shine, waiting for someone to tell them they are good enough, smart enough, talented enough. But you do not need permission to be great. You do not need validation to pursue what is already inside of you. The fact that you are alive means you have a purpose. The fact that you have dreams means you have something to offer. And the fact that you feel a desire for more means you were created for more. If you live with the mindset of preserving yourself, you will die full. But if you live with the mindset of pouring yourself out, you will die empty. And that is the goal, not to leave this world with your potential still inside of you, but to leave it knowing that you gave it all. No regrets, no what-ifs, no missed opportunities. Because in the end, the measure of a life is not in what you kept, but in what you gave. Life is not a rehearsal. You don't get a second chance to live today again. Every moment you breathe is a divine opportunity to give the world the best version of yourself. You were not born to play small, to settle for average, or to walk through life with untapped potential. You were created to pour yourself out, to exhaust every gift, to stretch beyond every limit, and to leave this world having given everything within you. Comfort will try to hold you back, but you must push past it. Time is running out, and you cannot afford to waste another day in hesitation. Faith demands action, not just belief. Excuses will only rob you of your destiny if you allow them. And above all, you were not meant to die full. You were meant to die empty, having given the world everything you were designed to contribute. So the question is, what will you do with the time you have left? Will you step out in faith, or will you shrink back in fear? Will you break free from excuses, or will you continue to justify inaction? Will you leave this world knowing that you gave it your all, or will you take your dreams, your gifts, and your potential to the grave? The choice is yours. But make no mistake, your time is now. No more waiting, no more delaying, no more holding back. Go forward with boldness, with passion, with an unshakable commitment to give everything you have. Because when your final moment comes, may you be able to say with confidence, I gave it all. I held nothing back, I poured out everything, and I have finished my race well.